Hey, is your life kind of like Woodstock got tossed in a blender full of pixie dust? Do you get into a tizzy whenever you don't get enough attention? Well, congratulations! You might be an Archfey Warlock. But what is an Archfey Warlock? Well, start learning how to change buckets into carriage drivers, try to ride that fine line between gift and curse so someone learns a moral lesson at the end, and never let anyone get anywhere close to understanding what the hell your deal is, because you're a... The Feywild, a place of wild magic, majestic splendor, and dark hidden secrets. A trip here is kind of like a trip to Disneyland, you know? Colorful characters everywhere, a sense of wonder and childlike whimsy, and weird adults who get way too into it. But just like the house that Mouse built, there's always something just a little creepy behind those big dead eyes. Enter the Archfey, noble, powerful creatures that dominate this mysterious and chaotic landscape. Beings of almost godlike influence and potential, Archfey rule their courts with inscrutable spontaneity, hiding their true motivations behind whimsical and often outlandish fashions that can confuse those unaccustomed to their temperaments. Not to mention the centuries-old beef between the Seelie and Unseelie and other courts, which I have no time to talk about, and the wild stories about these guys constantly kidnapping lost children or young biddies that reluctantly fall in love with a ferryman, which is its own kind of problematic. But the Feywild seems to run on its own set of ever-changing, consistently more complex, nonsensical rules that are designed to trick you into eating a piece of cheese that will have you immediately evacuating your bowels or trap you in this fungal-infested Technicolor hellscape for all eternity. What's that? Sounds fun. Whatever you Fey. But first, are you a sucker for hot weather and not afraid of a little sand? Do you want to inject your next adventure with a little Mad Max mayhem? Well, then let me be the first to introduce to you Scorched Basin, a land of insane heat, carnage-fueled desert races, and deadly high-octane adventure. Be the first to get your hands on this incredible package with awesome battle maps, 5 new player options with an all-new magic system, 30 new items, and over 100 plot hooks. But the first 500 backers can also get limited edition metallic signed prints from the artists themselves. This new set is not only system agnostic, meaning you can plug it into D&D 5.5.6.20, 24, and 1, but also Mathfinder, Badger Heart, and Draw Seals, and so much more. But if you can believe it, this is also a collaboration of over 100 different D&D creators, including me. So see if you can pick us out and find my voice. Speaking of the creators, every person who signs up using my link below sends more support directly to yours truly. That's right, I also get a small cut for helping out with this project. So not only do I love Scorched Basin and the people who created it, but I truly hope you do too. And if you want your very own copy, make sure to hit that link in the description below and support that Kickstarter right now. Once again, hit that link in the description to help out me and a bunch of other great creators and support that Kickstarter right here, right now. But a huge thanks to the homie and the dude and the Scorched Basin team for sponsoring the show. And now, back to the video. So you want to add a little millennial narwhal bacon I'm so lay random humor into your everyday life. Well, nothing is more low random than selling your soul to a tree person, so you might as well start out as a warlock. Warlocks are great because they never need to fully commit the way other deific D&D classes do. So instead of gaining spells through prayer or devotion, you're more of a pay-to-play model, allowing you to carry out your own goals with some bartered arcana, and that's way more of the Feywild style anyway. So we start out with a little Pact magic, gaining extra spells to boot. Right off the bat, we can use our 1 spell slot to cast Fairy Fire to illuminate targets and give ourselves and allies advantage, or Sleep to, well, put them straight to sleep. Very Fey trickster of us. Which reminds me, we also immediately gain our Fey presence. Whether absurdly hot or devastatingly ugly, no one makes an entrance quite like a Fey being. So we get to lean hard into this by calling upon our connection to the wilds. As an action, we can force every creature in a 10-foot cube to make a wisdom saving throw or be charmed by our beauty or frightened by our hideousness for 1 round. This is a sweet ability because both debuffs are equally good, but the ability never specifies specifies if you have to make all creatures feel the same thing. So you can frighten some while charming others just depending on the situation. Pair this with incredible spells coming down the line, and we can set ourselves up for some really great combos, especially out of combat, if we need to scare off guards trying to chase us down or charm our way into a place we're not supposed to be. Second level means Eldritch Invocations, and nothing screams Fey more than Mask of Many Faces to cast Disguise Self at will. We're already quirky, might as well also be incredibly hot, but our second invocation is a bit tricky as we could have a ton of really cool options here, though I think I like Misty Visions. This allows you to also cast the Silent Image spell at will, which I think really fits with our trickster nature and allow you to scare the shit out of townsfolk with creepy wandering ghosts. Third level gets us a Pact Boon, giving us plenty of options based on if we want to be melee focused, spellcaster, or other, but I think the Pact of the Chain makes the most sense for our Archfey Warlock. For being a group of wild cards, the Fey really do have a weird sense of hierarchy, and as a servant of an Archfey, I think it makes sense for us to also gain a sidekick of our own. This ability allows you to cast the Find Familiar spell as well as gaining extra forms for said familiar, and turns out we have a perfect little buddy in the form of a sprite. This guy has a few cool abilities like turning invisible and being able to read people's emotions by touch, which can actually be surprisingly useful for trying to discern if it's a good idea to push a bad guy's buttons. You just have to let Navi get a handful of lich cheeks first. Third level also means second level spells, and our subclass gives us a few more bangers, like Calm Emotions to settle down a situation that might turn violent, and if that doesn't work, Phantasmal Force to screw with a baddie's mind by making them fight their own demons or take psychic damage from whatever Looney Tune shenanigans you want them to envision. But that means we're going to jump up to level 5 and get another invocation, and I like Investment of the Chainmaster. This gives our familiar a few cool buffs like a flying and swimming speed, an attack on their attack action, magical weapon attacks, the ability to borrow your spell DC, and resistance to all damage by spinning a reaction, which that's pretty damn good. But it also means we get our third level spells like Blink to be flaky about existing, I guess, letting us pop in and out of reality in a roll of the dice. And Plant Growth, because it wouldn't be called the Feywild without the wild part. 6th level gives us another Fey ability with Misty Escape, letting you vanish in a puff of smoke whenever you take damage and teleport up to 60 feet away, and also turn invisible for a round, which is a little nuts. 7th level means yet another invocation in Voice of the Chainmaster is pretty neat, letting you speak telepathically with your familiar and also speak through their mouth, which is a little weird. But by using the sprite, this means you can sneak them up on a target to read their emotions and send that information immediately, even from far away, which is a nice tool to have as long as they don't get caught. 7th level also means 4th level spells like Dominate Beast to control the mind of beasts and turn them to your side, as well as Greater Invisibility, one of the best spells all around, letting you stay invisible while casting other spells and doing damage. An invaluable ability in a tough fight for sure. 9th level means yet another invocation, and I like Sculptor of Flesh here. Nothing is funnier than turning an annoying prince into a frog with a free polymorph spell, and that feels pretty Fey to me. And we also get our last 2 subclass spells with Dominate Person, fantastic for turning a bad guy into a henchman, and Seeming, so you can disguise the whole party with some Fey drip to show up to every fight in style. Especially when we hit that coveted level 10 where we grab Beguiling Defenses. Now, not only are we ourselves completely immune to charms, if another creature attempts to charm us, we can spend our reaction to play an Uno reverse card and charm them back instead. Plenty of creatures, especially Fey, will try to get into your head and force you to play by their rules. So this is a great way to remind them there are no rules. But jumping up once again to level 11, we'll pick up our Mystic Arcanum, a fancy way to say spells without having to admit we're a spellcaster, which I recommend cool stuff like Tasha's Otherworldly Guides, Crown of Stars, Dominate Monster, or True Polymorph, which leaves room for even more invocations like the Gift of the Ever-Living Ones, allowing you to regain max dice rolls on any healing as long as you're within 100 feet of your familiar. But that leaves us with our last Archfey Warlock ability at level 14 with Dark Delirium. Seelie, unseelie, or something in between, every Fey has a bit of a mean streak when when they need it. So as an action, you can choose a creature within 60 feet and force them to make a wisdom save, or be once again charmed or frightened by you. While in this state, the creature believes themselves to be lost in a misty realm alone, except for you, giving them no choice but to be enthralled by your majesty or terrified by your presence. If you're feeling nice, this means they get to look upon your beauty and bask in the magic until you decide to cut them down or let them go. But if you're feeling nasty, this is more or less a Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Ow! Jump scare.
But we'll wrap up with some great stuff like 15th and 18th level invocations, to which I'll take witch sight, so you can tell which witch is which when the witches use illusions to try to switch, and finish strong with Chains of Carceri, to cast Hold Monster on celestials, fiends, or elementals without expending a spell slot, just in case these dipshits try to step on our turf. And finally, our capstone at level 20 is Eldritch Master, letting us pop a squat so hard we regain all our expended Pact magic slots over the course of a minute, just by kind of flirting with our patron for a while. But does the Archfey Warlock have me ready to give it all up and cut a rug in a mushroom circle? The Archfey Warlock is very targeted into a specific niche when it comes to their performance, and while I don't think they're necessarily the strongest combat-focused subclass that Warlocks have, they still fill a vital role with crowd control and support. Most of your spells revolve around stalling the enemy or charming or frightening them in order to keep them away from your allies, and I think not enough subclasses focus on this tactic. Often in the middle of a hard battle, you just need a good blast of CC to get the baddies off your frontliners, and this is where the Archfey Warlock shines. You also have a bunch of ways to get yourself out of trouble while getting others into it. I took the Pact of the Chain here to kind of feed into this playstyle, but spells like Dominate Beast and Person pretty much do the exact same thing, giving you the ability to call on or persuade minions to your side so you never really have to get your hands dirty. Double that with our Misty Escape, and if you ever find yourself in a tight spot, you can pop out quickly to keep doing what you do. So while you can build up your Eldritch Blasts to push baddies around and deal extra damage, I actually think you're better off focusing on spells and abilities that help you play with your target's mind while your fighter or barbarian do the real damage. Or let your little Navi spray come in for the killing blow. That's fun.
Listen!
My only complaint with this subclass is that it does suffer from the PHB effect a little, and I do wish more of your abilities were tied to either your proficiency bonus or your charisma modifier, instead of just being a once per short rest kind of thing. While regaining these on a shorty is nice, Fey Presence is certainly not broken if it's used multiple times in a combat. The sad part is that the 2024 version of this subclass also got rid of Fey Presence and Dark Delirium, which I think is a shame and kind of negates what I feel is the purpose of this subclass. I'm definitely going to be doing more videos on 2024 stuff, but it's odd to me that the two best abilities for like mind-altering shenanigans got nixed in the Feywild Warlock. I don't know, that seems like a real missed opportunity to me. However, what we have here is still really cool, and I like all the things you can do with it in and out of combat. It's not often we get to see a Warlock that can take on the role of the face of the party, but you have multiple ways to charm or frighten your way through social encounters, and that's a nice change of pace from a dark, edgy Warlock we're all used to, though you can also absolutely do that. But if you can't leave the house until you've put your glamour on, or read your bedtime stories by a demon witch called the Baba Yaga, and can't help but act a little bit silly, guess what? You might be an Archfey Warlock. Hey guys, thank you all so much for watching. This episode is brought to us by Fey Shenanigans and viewers like you, but also the incredible work of those guys over there at Homie and the Dude with Scorched Basin. I'm so excited about this project in particular because not only did I get to be a part of it with so many other creators, which is an incredible honor, but it's kind of a really cool experiment for us trying to get the word out without having to rely on big corporate sponsors or other stuff. It's all creator focused and gives a ton back to this community, all of which host creators that I'm a huge fan of. So if you want more initiatives like this, you should go hit that link and support the Kickstarter so we can show everyone that these big creator-driven initiatives work and give more back to the people you want to support the most. But I still can't thank you enough for sticking around this long. So I'll leave it at that today, but a huge thanks to my patrons, especially King Osiris, Tedsy, Spider Lover, Miles Not Yards, Sora, Sin, Yuki, Copper Dragon, John Speed, Spellslinger, and Epic Medic. You all are the best. To everyone else, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.